Motorsports Podcast with the owner of Bent Motorsports, David Beckett, and his crew, Ken Johnston, Brian Barkley, and Marty Trimble. Listen in as the guys discuss all things motorsports, including tech tips and current shop projects.
We can get into it right now. We can jump in. Let's start this podcast. We got the old crew back in. Not the old crew. We're old. And we're the new old crew. The Off-Road guys. Off-Road Club. Secret Offroad Club. That's no longer a secret.
Right.
Now we got to make a secret Off-Road Club so that the Secret Offroad Club is the front for the secret Off-Road Club.
We're going to get audited.
We're definitely going to get audited.
It's
so we have.
It's a, what do they call that? Where you don't make any money.
501c?
Yeah, we got to file for that, right?
I think I'm
With
gonna.
the federal government.
I think I'm gonna make. We're a church.
Right there you go. The Church of Off-Road.
Church is in session.
I usually do the most praying off-roading. God,
Yeah.
I hope I don't break
Right,
anything.
right. Please,
Please,
God,
Lord.
don't let me roll.
Well, let's follow up with what we've done since the last podcast. We did go back to Big Bear. And I've hesitated talking about my overheating issues other than saying it's just overheating issues. But I'm pretty confident I feel like I want to talk about it now because I know the whole situation. I know
we got enough distance between the experience and now?
Yes. There was it was a little sore for a while. I had upgraded everything on my Jeep, and I think I mentioned it before, to the Mishimoto cooling system, right? And that included a thermostat, a radiator, a 16-inch fan with fan shroud, and their switching system that you plug. We actually put our temperature sensor in the thermostat housing. And the first trip we took to Big Bear, I started overheating.
You
And
said our temperature sensor, their temperature sensor in the.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we put the one they gave us. Sorry, into the thermostat housing, and so we basically brought it up there, and the fan melted. The motor seized up.
Wires melted. The fan melted.
Yeah. So we originally thought that we had a bad connection in where the fan plugs into the plug. Right. It was a weather pack. And one of them was super hot. So, okay, we had an amperage increase there. That was what was causing it. And everybody said, oh, well, how come you weren't blowing a fuse? Well, we were blowing fuses. But by the time the fuse would blow, the motor was so hot that you'd put another fuse in, and then it would start working slower, do some weird stuff, and then ultimately it would pop again, and by then the fan is smoked.
And all of this was before the first trip. This is driving around town.
Driving around town, we found the first problem, thought we had it fixed, got up to Big Bear, completely fried that fan.
Oh, did you? I didn't
Spent
know
the rest of the time trying to get, right? That's the day we did all 3 trails.
Right.
Came back. They warrantied it out after great amounts of effort.
We're talking about the water pump?
We're talking about the fan itself
Well,
still.
I understand. Are we going to include the water pump in this discussion?
So then what I decided was that that maybe my water pump was not working as well as it should have, right?
Well, you had a failure, didn't you? In town? Around town you had a failure a few days out. It was the week after that.
Yeah, was it a complete failure? Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. It completely failed. The water pump completely went out. And I dropped.
Off at school,
yeah, you're right. I dropped water everywhere. It emptied the thing out, and the water pump completely went out. So then I started thinking, well,
maybe had
I had proper water flow, then I wouldn't have had this issue. So now it's on me, right? I can't blame Mishimoto for that.
Right.
Although their fan did melt. So.
And it wasn't from the heat of the motor.
No, it just crapped out. So like I look up water pumps and I find a company, Flow Cooler, I think is the name of it, and they have a high flow water pump for the 4.0 Jeep engine. It's got a really nice, what do you call it, impeller or whatever is on there. and that also comes with a high flow thermostat. So since I'd overheated my Jeep so bad up at Big Bear, I mean, we boiled that thing over a dozen times that day. At least. And so that's in general not good for thermostats, right? They lose their calibration, in essence, when you overheat them badly. And I'd overheated it badly several times. So I just threw it away. And with the Flow Cooler water pump, I got a brand new high flow thermostat, right? If you're going to have a high flow water pump, you got to have a high flow thermostat. So I put those two things in. Mishimoto warrantied out my fan. I put their fan in, and I said, sweet, let's go do Big Bear. Let's go. We got this baby solved. I got a new water pump, new thermostat, got a brand new fan from Mishimoto. We didn't even make it up halfway up Gold Mountain, and the thing was...
We stopped on the way up.
We stopped on the way up the grade, just getting to Big Bear.
And you took your tune out.
Yeah, and then I thought, okay, well, I've got a Banks tuner in here. My tune's too hot. I'm going to get rid of the tune because maybe I'm getting a little detonation going up the hill, and that's causing the overheating. Not condemning Mishimoto yet. And but then, sure enough, we get on the trail, and that fan melted again.
And that was this trip.
That was this last trip, yeah. We pulled the fan out. We broke it free and got it to move again. But ultimately, that thing just seized up.
Just for the record, he says we, but I was eating a sandwich.
Yeah, he was. No,
time.
You were eating an Uncrustable.
Uncrustable. Yes.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, it seemed like that motor was really hot, and I
didn't want to get near it?
I didn't have gloves. I was trained to be a mechanic.
Well, I wasn't super stoked at the time either, so I was probably very unapproachable at that moment.
Until you got a strawberry Uncrustable.
Yeah, I did. That was delicious. Those things are good, man.
They are. It's too bad.
Different flavors?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Grape, strawberry.
I've only seen
grape and strawberry.
Grape
and strawberry.
Yeah, we get grape at Costco.
Yeah.
Whatever Costco's got. That's it.
It's too
That's all
bad.
it is.
I mean, we could have really made use of that hot engine, though, with like a pork butt or something.
Yeah, make a brisket.
Cooking. Yeah. Cooking on the way up there, right? Would have been awesome.
Well, we finally limp the thing through the trail again, and then I drive home, took the fan completely out, right? Get on the road. I drove home from Big Bear all the way down to San Marcos, through traffic, down the hill, freeway, all that. Never once did the thing overheat.
With no fan.
With no fan. But I was constantly moving, right? So it's just proof that, with the new high flow water pump and Mishimoto's radiator, which is a nice aluminum radiator,
It's beautiful.
it's when you're moving, it's cooling. So then I got home and I put the stock fan clutch and steel fan on with the stock plastic shroud that would have gone on the that I had from the stock setup. And the thing's never run better, never cooler. I mean, I put the hot tune back in it and everything. And normally I would run on the gauge. Anybody out there with the 4 liters is probably running right on the 210 mark, just below or just above, right, depending on what you're doing. And mine's running consistently well below the 210 now. So that's my experience. I am going to do one more thing before I outright come out on any public forum and say that Mishimoto fans are absolute dog shit, because right now that's how I feel.
Getting close.
I am going to...
Before we say that.
Yeah, before I say that, I have another Mishimoto fan, and I'm going to set up a bench test, and I'm going to take their controller that I ripped out of my Jeep, and I'm going to put it on the bench, and I'm going to run their fans through their controller. I have a feeling that it's not the fan, but it's the controller that's turning the fan on and off. The way they've got that system wired is subpar, and that might simply be the problem. But I also feel that their shroud, the way they made their shroud, you got a 16-inch fan, and the rest of it is like a half an inch deep, right? And it's just aluminum that's covering up the rest of the radiator to try to funnel the air through that. And I don't think it's effective. I think we're losing that percentage. Whereas if the fan could be moved back a few inches and centered, and you'd have a more of a funneled looking shroud, it would be more effective. Unfortunately, there's no room to do any of that. So they've done whatever they can. But in this case, I think what they've done is not efficient enough for that Jeep. It's not going to work.
Is this what they were trying? I mean, where did they start? I mean, were they starting with sports cars and said, "Oh, let's make a one for the Jeep," or
Maybe. I think they've been in, I don't know how long they've been in business, but I know they're big in the sports car world.
right.
Real big in the sports car world. And maybe designing something for a Jeep that's moving 4 miles an hour is not, they haven't perfected it yet. I don't know.
Does that fan mount to the shroud?
Yes, mounts to the shroud. So it's off of the radiator surface, but unfortunately, it's only off of it by like a half an inch.
David,
Right.
you're videotaping this for YouTube, so do you have one that we can put on camera?
Or beat against the wall?
Yeah, it's all upstairs in a box. I put it in a box and I haven't looked at it yet for a while.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll videotape the
Bench test.
the actual bench test. Yeah,
All right.
and then we can talk about it later.
And then the destruction that we're going to do when we go out to the trellises.
Yeah, I got a
Ocotillo.
sweet sawed-off shotgun. I think that could do some real good damage.
We're going to skeet shoot with it.
We're gonna throw it and see who can shoot it.
Yeah. We have our shotgun. We never even shot it. My wife's shotgun.
Yeah.
So
What
Check
kind?
it out.
Mossberg. It's the kid version. What is that?
500?
No, there's a smaller
No,
one, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what, Brian? Okay, let's talk about your Jeep. Every time we go off-roading,
What did I do? I was just sitting here being quiet.
every time we go off-roading and come back, we got to spend an hour getting your steering wheel straight.
Yes.
What's that about?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did you find out?
Well, last I heard, you got a book with some directions in it. They're showing us what's going on.
Yeah, I haven't dug into a JK drive shaft or a steering shaft. So apparently it's 3 or 4 sections.
Right.
And I think that, and I don't know if anybody out there has the same problem. Go to the website or Instagram or anywhere and send us a message because I'm going to dig into it. We're going to figure out what's happening. But we have to basically do an alignment and recalibrate his steering
Every time.
every time.
Every time.
It's like he's overloading. Like when you get a wheel up on a rock and you got the front locker on and you're really trying to steer into it, it's like something in the intermediate shaft or something is giving way, and it's actually letting him force the steering wheel off center. And then when we're all done wheeling and he's driving home, his steering wheel's 180 off.
So when we're on the trail and you guys are going go left, and I'm just sitting there, I'm cranking the wheel as hard as I can, but I'm just stuck. The wheels aren't moving. So that's why I have to back off the obstacle, turn it,
Right.
and then this last week when we came home, the traction control lights came on, all the warning lights came on the dash because, like we were saying, the Jeep thought I was driving 80 miles an hour in a circle. So it wouldn't let me use cruise control. It wouldn't let me do anything. It just got so mad at me.
So the Jeeps all drive by wire now, right? So it must be steering by wire then as well? Is that what we're talking
Well,
about?
that's what I thought. So I went to my master mechanic friend to see what he would think.
So, okay, so it's not steer-by-wire completely, right? It actually has shafts that go down and it's directly driving the steering wheels, but it does have steering angle sensors in it. And that steering angle sensor, if it thinks so we calibrate it, steering wheel straight. He goes off-road, something forces beyond its reach. Now what happens is that sensor is out of calibration. So, and he's driving straight down the road, it thinks he's doing a 60-degree, turn. And so it goes, dude, I'm not going to give you any more throttle or anything, and I'm going to put the traction control on because you're going 70, and you've got the steering wheel turned 90 degrees. You're going to die.
Yeah.
So the car is stopping, is freaking out. So we've got to figure out what's moving, what in that shaft is moving, and then uncalibrating the steering angle sensor. So and I'm sure somebody out there's got an answer, and we just need to dig in and find it.
Yeah.
So is calibration, is that completely electronic or is it mechanical?
It's electronic.
It is.
So once we
Well,
get
they don't-
everything straight where we want it, we put the steering wheel back where it's at, and the tires and everything are straight again, then we calibrate it and say, okay, this is your new 0.
Right.
Now, the one cool thing, though, is, I have the AEV ProCal for redoing the gears and all that. Well, I can actually set that, plug it into my USB, OSB, what's that thing called?
OBD2.
Yeah, that thing. And it uses the lights on the dash, the 2 turn signals and the high beam to let you know when the steering wheel's straight. So when I first plugged it in, when I brought it into the shop, it was showing left arrow. So now you can take the steering wheel,
Oh, interesting.
put it back center, and all of a sudden the high beam comes on, which tells you it's centered. and it's so sensitive that you barely tweak it just a little bit left or right, and it'll turn the turn signal on. So it has to be dead center
Wow.
for that
Fancy.
light to come on. And then I'm holding the steering wheel where it needs to be, and then he's readjusting everything underneath to get it back in line.
The problem is,
I mean, they don't make a steering system that's not actually still mechanical and connected, right? I mean, I was being flippant when I said steer by wire. That doesn't exist, right?
it does.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, other than hydraulic. I mean,
No, they're electric, but most of them are connected, and then they're electrically assisted.
right.
Right. But I think there are. I know there's been concept cars and prototype cars that are
Sure.
absolutely, wire driven, but I'm not sure of any true street production cars that have it. But it's not long. It's not far away.
Yeah.
What else were we going to talk about the Big Bear trip? I can't remember anything else.
Crustables?
No, we
We're
already
going to talk about
Oh,
the
we already talked
knuckleheads
about
at the gatekeeper. Well, I don't know if we call it the gatekeeper on Gold Mountain.
Waterfall.
Is that the waterfall? No, the next one.
So the
oh,
gatekeeper,
where the
at
the-
John Bull has been completely manipulated and blown apart. So you would think you can get through it. You're not going to have any problems on the trail because you can just drive around all the boulders on the gatekeeper.
Right.
But yeah,
I did
No,
that.
I'm thinking about on Gold Mountain when we had a group of Toyota guys that were being real helpful, right? I mean, it was 10 a.m.
Yep.
and they had their bottles of beer on the trail already, but a couple of Jeep guys. And the one guy, I don't know if it was had to be a Sahara, but he had a Rubicon hood on the thing, and thought he was going to get between the two trees, and you can't fit between the two trees.
That's right.
We're there with the kids, and this is still one of the Toyota guys, and they're stacking rocks, and they're heavy foot on the throttle, and they hit that obstacle, and then that rock comes shooting out from underneath that they were stacking, and you're just going, all right, guys, let's go back to the truck and let these knuckleheads
Let them do their thing.
and then we'll just crawl up it nice and smooth, which was really uneventful when we got to the obstacle.
Yeah. Except for I screwed up and I didn't let enough air out of the tires, and then I had Shelly, my wife, drive it, and so it made the obstacle more difficult because I should have let 5 more pounds out of all the tires and I didn't. So she had to kind of bounce it, which was fun for her, right?
Yeah.
But then she bounced it into a tree and
Into a shrub. Took off some of your wrap.
yeah, it's peeled the wrap back a little bit.
You
Looks
put
like
a monster sticker right there. or
yeah,
something.
it looks like I got attacked by a cougar or something.
Velociraptor.
The first obstacle. Oh,
Yeah, it was technically the second
First
one.
one's
Yeah.
real wide,
yeah.
right? You can choose a couple different lines.
Right,
the
right.
next one, there's 2 lines.
Yeah.
But it's
okay.
only like 100 feet away.
right.
The next one. So, you guys didn't go to the Off-Road Expo this year. Then you guys made it, right? It was just me up
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I didn't know you were going.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I don't tell you guys just because,
Yeah, I checked my phone.
Somebody
and
wants
I
to be alone,
really
they
didn't
wanna be
see
alone.
any messages that day.
No, I
This
decided kind of at the last minute to bounce up there. And I got to be honest, there's nothing new on the market. It was just the same old thing.
So I was in David's office. I think why he went by himself. There's some really cool badges in there say VIP on them. I don't think.
Those are from the Long Beach one. The only
Yeah, I
reason I
know.
was VIP was because I bought like $20,000 worth of crap for my Jeep. So
I don't remember going to that one either.
I was I looked at a couple of photos from Four Wheeler, and the only thing that I saw, and I didn't look at very many photos, but they had the probably the last couple of years of their ultimate adventure rigs of 4-wheel and off-road.
right.
So this year, I guess, is a Discovery, a Disco 2, I think, that they've got on there. I don't know
That
what
was
they're
kinda
running.
cool.
37s, 35s, 37s.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
see it up there? The yellow one?
Probably. I walked by a lot of cars. I don't know. It's like when I go to SEMA. I find if I was to see that yellow Land Rover Discovery or whatever it was in the parking lot at Albertsons, I'd have been all over it. What is this? Oh my gosh! This is amazing.
Yeah.
You're looking at it, but when it's parked at an off-road show next to 400 other cars that
Yeah.
are built the same or more, you just kind of walk by them and you lose it. You've got to almost make a conscious effort to stop and go, okay, what is unique about this vehicle? Okay, cool. I see they did that. That's unique. Move on to the next one. But otherwise, you just walk past them. SEMA's the same way. You're like, oh, yeah, what, another $500,000 car? Who cares? Whatever, Seen it.
Right.
There's one every booth.
Right.
And it's kind of a bummer, because these people spend a lot of time and money making these vehicles, and you just kind of like walk past them. You almost feel guilty walking right past them.
Yep.
But, it is what it is.
Kind of like when you get lost in the tire section.
Oh, that entire hall of tires?
Tire hall. And it's tractor tire after tractor tire. And they want to talk to you about it, especially the Asians. They want you to see the new Asian tire, but you just want out.
I don't even go into that building. I avoid it. There's too much going on. It smells too much like Harbor Freight in there.
Right.
All the tires. It's like, are we in Harbor Freight? Oh, no, this is the tire section. We're in the tire section.
It's funny.
SEMA will be good. None of you guys are going to SEMA this year, right? I think everybody's out
Never
this
say never.
Next year.
Next year.
Next year, yeah. I wasn't going to go, but now I'm going to go because I'm going to help out my buddy Cord with Bison Off-Road. So if you're at SEMA, go check out Bison Off-Road.
Like 3 weeks away, right?
Yeah, it's getting close. It's Halloween, so
Yeah.
that's real close. I did a big brake upgrade on a JK yesterday.
So I wanted to talk about that because technically I lied last podcast and I said, nah, I really don't have anything I want to do, maybe a 4-inch lift, but that big brake kit, as soon as I saw that on your webpage, I was like, oh, I forgot about that.
Well, I went up the street with it when he brought it in, and he's got 35s, right? It's a 4-door. And I drove up the street, came out of the cul-de-sac, so I'm kind of coming downhill towards the shop, and I stood on the brakes. And it's like my Jeep. You find yourself pulling on the steering wheel at the same time you're pushing on the brakes, right? Like,
Right.
Jesus, I hope we stop soon. And you're like, yeah, this guy definitely needs it, right? Bring it in the shop, get it done, go out and test drive it when I'm done. That thing was great. I mean, just stopped fast. Like, it was the kind. It was really the kind.
The rotors and calipers and
Yeah, so the front was rotors, calipers, new pads. The back was rotors and a new caliper mount. And you utilize the original caliper. But because it's a way bigger rotor, it comes with a new mount that allows the caliper to be out a little bit further. And then that was all TerraFlex parts.
okay.
And I know TerraFlex offers a master cylinder as well, but this customer decided to go with the Mopar upgrade. So you get a booster and a master cylinder from Mopar. So they're Mopar parts. And
Which is the one I want.
And they went right in. Just
Mhm.
went right in. And I'm sure it's a booster and a master cylinder off of a Dakota or something, It's,
Well, that's the cool part, right, is everything I've looked at, they said that that's off the Ram Series trucks.
oh, okay.
So you could blow that thing up, and you can run right back down to the dealer and grab another one because they're a dime a dozen.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. That thing worked great. It went in pretty easy. I mean, it
So you
didn't take
said
me that long.
4-door. Did you put this on a JK?
Yeah, a JK, 4-door JK. It's a Sahara. So this guy has a Sahara. After he bought the Sahara, now he's starting to fix it up, realized, maybe I shouldn't have bought the Sahara only because you got to do so much. So we've lifted this Jeep for him. He's got 35s now. He's been driving it around a little bit, came back. Now we're doing the big brake upgrade. He's going to drive it around a little more, and then we're going to put gears in it. So, ultimately he'll have what he wants in the end. But, he likes it. It's black on black, so it's like all black fenders, black top, black interior. Yeah, it's a sweet little Jeep. But it definitely...
What year?
2015 or 16. It's pretty new. It's, it's only a couple years old. But yeah, it was nice to see the big brake upgrade kit with the Mopar booster and everything, and watch it work really well.
Well, what I really like about this story is that when I come in, you go, oh, I haven't done that yet on a JK. At least now you can come in and you can say, oh, I've done a big brake kit before.
Yeah, I did one now. I wish they made
I always
one
get
for
to be
my
the
Jeep.
guinea pig for some reason.
Yeah, well, let's try it on Brian's Jeep.
Yeah.
If it works, cool. I'll tell everybody it worked. What else do we got? Marty, did you look into any new products?
Well, David, You just gave us like 24-hour notice, so no.
No, your life should be living, eating, breathing podcast. Always thinking about podcast.
Yeah.
Can we talk about his Mustang
didn't.
a little bit?
Oh,
I was
it's
in a
Mustang.
lot of pain, dude.
What's that?
I was in a lot of pain.
What happened?
Like 4 weeks now. That's why I didn't go on the.
Oh yeah,
The
Marty.
trip.
Marty did not go on Big Bear because he was
No.
whining about his neck, his shoulder, and his
Yeah,
arm,
It's been
and
brutal.
he's getting old quick.
I know. I'm telling you. I look
Man.
it too, don't I?
Too much head banging.
What do you want to talk about the Mustang? The
Is it
repair
fixed?
job? Did you look at it?
Well, I looked at it. That what do you call that little little
The scoop?
scoop on the side?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be quite attached properly.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Looks like there's some metal shavings in that adhesive too.
Oh,
We'll go
I
look
don't know
at
why
it.
there'd be that.
After
but-
the show. We're going to look
something
at
in
it.
there, man.
And the
It's not. It doesn't fit up against the sheet metal like the.
crease of the wheel well. I mean, it's faint. It's supposed to be faint, but it's just like a little too much faint.
Oh, they didn't get the line sharp enough.
No, you can.
Because
if
it's
you go
all
to the other
Bondo in
side,
there.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
don't know.
didn't fix it.
They told me it was. It's like this thin. It's like super super thin.
Well, yeah, but that's the edge.
Right.
That's where you get the edge
I
back.
know.
So what about this? Which Mustang do you like the best of all the years? Like, do you like any of the new
Oh,
ones?
69 Boss Fastback.
Fine.
That'd be a dream car right there. That's like a $200,000 car right there.
So you know Shelby's redoing their Cobras now. You can buy a brand new '69 Shelby Cobra with the exact matching serial numbers. They just continue to the number order. Take a car in, trade it on one of those.
I don't
Hmm.
have.
You know that?
All it takes is
I
money.
don't have
Two-seater.
100,000 plus
Huh?
dollars.
That's a two-seater.
No.
It's fastback like
Yeah,
You
his.
said the
Fastback.
Cobra.
Or
The Shelby Cobra.
Yeah, the Shelby Cobra, the 350s.
This Cobra over here.
That's
That's
a
a
65 Daytona.
That's a Daytona.
Oh. All right.
There's all kinds of Shelbys. You know.
So you're talking about the GT350,
Right.
but not
Right.
the 500. Are they redoing the 500?
I don't know if they're doing the 500s.
I don't know anything about cars, so.
So anyway, that's the story
cheat.
on the Mustang.
Huh.
Looks good from a distance.
I had another customer bring in his JK a few weeks ago, 2015, and he wanted me to look at it and make sure it was good to go for the Rubicon. So we did all the maintenance on it, got him squared away, sent him off to the Rubicon. He just came back, had me look at it again, post-Rubicon inspection, make sure he didn't screw anything up. He didn't. A lot of undercarriage bashing, right? But other than that, the thing was great. And he just said that trail is just, he goes, you go on a trail around here and you do an obstacle and you drive for a while. Then you do an obstacle, and then you drive for a while. He said, man, you'd get through an obstacle and be wiping the sweat off your forehead, and you're like, wait, that's what I got to do next? It's
Wow.
just obstacle, 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 obstacle. He said it's rad.
That's how I felt
Nice.
about John Bull the first time. I mean,
Yeah, John Bull was kind
Gumball's
of
pretty
is that way.
Heavy, yeah, it's heavy obstacle-wise.
that was driving me crazy. I'd get, we're done? We're done? No, you're not done. You just got to go around the corner, and there's more,
Have you heard of the Trail of the Doozy?
No.
He was
No.
saying that's the next one he's going to go on. I had never heard of it. It's-
In Fresno?
yeah, I think it's up.
Yeah, it's in Fresno.
Yeah, he said that the Doozy. So Rubicon is what, 22 or 26 miles or something. The Doozy is like maybe 5 or 10 miles longer than the Rubicon, but apparently it makes Rubicon look like a warm up.
Wow.
Like you go to
Really?
Rubicon and get warmed up, then you go do the Doozy.
Wow.
And I thought, man, I don't know if I want to do that one.
We don't get a badge for that one, though.
Yeah, you do.
We do now. Oh.
Yeah.
How long is it? Does it say on there how long it is?
Looking.
Doozy Ersham. Doozy Ersham Trail.
So, the Jeep badges, they color code them by how hard they are, and that's a red trail. So it's
So what's that one? And because they rate them too, right? So what is that? A 10, 10 or
level 7 with 9 obstacles.
And then what's the Rubicon? So that's a 7-9. So
Rubicon.
7 overall with 9 obstacles, right? Or not 9 obstacles, but a level 9 obstacles, right? So it's a 10-10 would be the worst, right?
Right.
The hardest you could do. So now we're looking up the Rubicon. So the Doozy is a 7-10.
We just had Wi-Fi. Can I get your Wi-Fi password?
Because you don't have reception?
I just wanted to see if he'd give me his Wi-Fi password over YouTube, Facebook, the internet.
Oh, That's right. This is live.
That's okay.
Kinda.
Yeah, whatever. You want to come by and hang out? I got a guest line. Bent Motorsports guest.
There you go.
Still needs a password.
Right.
Jeep Off-Road. Yeah, I told Kevin, if you're listening, my IT guy, I'm like, why do I need a password for the guest network? Because you only want people who are your guests to actually use it. Otherwise, you got people parking out front just logging into it.
Yeah, I don't know
Up your
we're gonna-
bandwidth.
Yeah,
And I
not
thought-
here.
All right, I guess I'll take your
That's
advice.
true.
You're a pretty smart guy.
Well, I'll tell you, the first day I put a password on mine, I used to think it was no big deal. And went and had dinner and drinks with some friends, and I came home, and I went to drive up, and there were 2 sheriff's vehicles sitting in front of my house. They figured out my Wi-Fi was unlocked, so they'd park there and use my Wi-Fi.
These smart guys, man.
Yeah. Not really encouraging when you've been out and having dinner and drinks.
Well, so we also have to decide the next video we're going to make. We're going to start doing more YouTube stuff. You can also go, if you're listening to this podcast, and watch this podcast on YouTube. It's not super thrilling. We're just a bunch of guys after work talking about stuff. But we'll try to do more. Maybe we get some more demo stuff. If we're showing you products or something, you'll be able to go to YouTube and check those products out and see what we think about them. Again, always feel free to go to the website and shoot us comments or anything you want us to talk about. If you want to know how to wire up a relay or why they use yellow paint setting a diff, just any number of dumb questions. We like dumb questions because they're easier to answer.
Nice.
Rubicon's 10. You don't even get like
It's just a 10.
straight up 10.
Well, because the Jeep, see, this is all the Jeep Badge of Honor app, guys. So Jeep Badge of Honor, they named their Jeep after the Rubicon, so they're going to consider the Rubicon to be the hardest.
Right.
There's no way they're going to let a doozy, even though it's on there, be harder than theirs. But maybe it's not. I don't know. I've never been to either one of them.
Yeah.
Well, the doozy also, you have to sleep on the trail. That adds to it.
Well, the Rubicon you have to as well.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but they're only giving it a 7, a 7.9.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's
So
if it's
John
tough,
Bull, John Bull's 7.9.
I mean, why isn't it like a 9.9?
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
So maybe
Even if they don't want to give it a 10.
Either my customer's misinformed or,
Yeah.
which he's pretty savvy, dude, or maybe Jeep's just, Rubicon's Rubicon, right?
We're gonna have to check it out.
I think we need to go, like I used to tell the Jakes and James, go get your own intel. Go get out your own information, and that way you can speak confidently about it, which is what I did with my cooling system. I feel I can speak pretty confidently about my cooling system on my Jeep now.
Doozy's 30 miles.
Yeah, there you go, 30. That's what he was saying, about 30 some odd miles.
Which this is interesting because when you go through the Jeep app and you look at most of the trails in Moab, they're giving them 4s and 6s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd really be interesting to see now.
Moab has a lot of cool trails, but I don't know if they're necessarily. Well, I know there's a lot of difficult trails out there, but
Yeah, 6s and 7s.
so Marty, you got your car fixed.
Yes.
We've got to schedule some time for your Jeep too, right?
Yes.
Did we talk about the hit list last time?
Yes, we did. I think what did I say was number 1, and everybody else looked at me like I was stupid.
Shocks, I think.
But did we figure out your? Did we figure out it?
Shocks? I got springs.
I don't know, dude.
No, we didn't look at you stupid. We just want you to get the new fender flares, the shorter
Oh.
ones.
It's true, you do.
Shorter fender flares.
Yeah, that's our number one. That's why
Did we ever
just
figure
looked
out why
at it.
your
Wheels
thing
and
is
tires.
tweaking sideways?
No, and it's a little better now. So
Since
we did some work
We did
on
something.
it. Steers straight now for the most part. A little bit of pull to the right, not too bad. But overall, I mean, I'm driving down the road with the steering wheel relatively straight.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, it was
I
bad.
didn't know your steering wheel could actually be straight in a vehicle. You're not a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
But
Mannequins are.
what were we saying? I don't know where we were going. I
You look like you just fell asleep right there.
Yeah, I think-
like your eyes closed and it was
You guys
game over.
definitely have to go to YouTube and watch
I'm
it.
on pain.
Marty just fell asleep talking on the microphone.
I'm on drugs.
Is that a
Got
pot
pain
leaf on that
meds.
beer, or what do you got?
He's on pain meds.
Pain
and
meds
he's drinking
and
beer.
yeah, and
Excellent combination.
beer. Exactly.
14-2-9er over here in the corner.
So no, we were working on the steering. It's driving straighter, a little pull to the right. The droop. So we had the issue with if you turn to the left, you get a sag to the right, which obviously makes sense. But it would always felt squishy. It just didn't feel right, and it's a little uncomfortable.
What are we talking about?
You're
So
talking
remember
The
how
Jeep. It's a Jeep we're
I
talking
heard
about.
Remember
squishy,
this is
didn't
at
quite
my
feel
house?
right. Lost me there for a minute.
the Jeep itself, I mean, you could see it visually. If you was just parked right here in the shop, you could see it kind of leaning to the right or to the left if you're looking at it from the front. But so that issue is still there. It's a little better. I actually put my phone on the dash with the
level thing.
the level, and drove around town getting coffee, and I turned sharp to the left and see what kind of number I got, and then I'd go the other way and go to the right, and I mean, you definitely get more. It's just weird. It's softer on that passenger side
What did
front
you?
tire than it is the. We changed the springs. We
No,
changed the
I know,
shocks.
but the
Yeah. So what we
the
did was
rotation of the motor and the way the torque spins
Well, that
on
was
the motor, because that was
my.
initial thought.
You're right. That's the reason we changed the springs.
Yeah.
Maybe the spring
over
is-
time has been
right. It's just
fatigued.
exactly.
That's the why. That's why on an outboard, right? That's
Yeah.
why they're on the right.
Well, and what we did
Something
too
to do with
was,
that? Or an
was,
IO?
when
Right
we
on
had
right?
his Jeep in here last, we crawled underneath it while it was on the ground and loosened all the control arm bolts,
Right.
just in case there was some. So if you do any work on your Jeep and you lift it up in the air and you let the axle droop out, and then you tighten one of your forelinks where there's the rubber bushings, if you tighten it while it's in the air and then set it on the ground, it's putting pressure on those, right? So you want it to be on the ground, static, right? Just sitting there. Then go underneath and tighten all your arms up, all your links, so that there's no preload on any of those. So we thought, well, maybe somebody had one side jacked up, did a repair, tightened it down real tight, and then put it back on the ground. Now you've got one side preloaded and one side not preloaded, and that's going to give you that feedback. So we loosened all those. That helped it maybe a
Well,
little
I
bit.
think mostly that bracket that we noticed that had some damage. I mean, it had the bracket
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
the
control
bracket
arm itself
folded.
had been, it was like folded in. So now it's limiting that control arm from
Moving.
right, and I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, I think that was a good catch.
But there's still an issue there somewhere, and
Yeah, and it could be
Them-
just something dumb too, is where one of the bushings is not quite right, or one of the arms has been bent just a little tiny bit.
or the sway bar.
Yeah, and it's giving you a little bit of when the thing's going through its motion, if that forelink isn't dead on, then it's going to induce some drivability
Well,
problems.
I'm wondering, because we put that aftermarket sway bar on
Yeah,
with the condition in place. So maybe now we need to go back and kind of
yeah,
dial
sure,
it back
sure.
in.
We could,
I mean,
yeah, we could go in and undo the links and let it sit fresh
Right,
again, and then
right,
rehook the links
right,
up.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good call. We could do that.
So overall, it's a lot better for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, David, if we have another shop day, why don't we tell everybody to be here at, say, 8 in the morning, but we tell Marty to be here at 8:30, so he doesn't get here first, get on the lift, take the whole day on the lift.
Every time we have a
That's
shop
not
day,
going to work.
every time we have a shop
Marty's
day,
an early riser, dude.
I'm always the first one. Actually, with all this pain going on, oh my gosh, it's been so hard to get up in the morning.
man, you got to get that got on lockdown.
I'm getting there.
Have you gone to the chiropractor?
Twice. Went to
Twice.
Yeah, went to the
That's not enough.
acupuncturist. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, but you need to go it's like twice a week.
It's not like my boss now.
Did you go to Lockridge?
No, I went to the guy over in Encinitas,
Yeah.
the hippie guy, and I did call the Lockridge place because he has an acupuncturist there,
Mm-hmm.
but they were well over a week out, So I made an appointment with some little old Chinese lady in Escondido.
That'll fix
She's
you.
like legit.
Huh.
She's like, I think she's original.
I got acupuncture in Encinitas from I assume a Chinese.
Yeah. Asian.
She was, so the guy's wife was and I don't know if it was gold medalist. I think she was gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist for speed walking.
Oh, wow. Wow. Did she have leg warmers on?
It's been a while.
So what did you think of that?
The acupuncture?
Yeah.
I'm actually a fan. My sister is a physical therapist, and in Colorado they've got a whole thing that's not legal in California because the acupuncture world is, I guess, a little more predominant in California. So they're trying to keep them out. They're trying to keep the physical therapist from being able to go into that world. And so anyway, in Colorado they call it needling, and their claim is that it's deeper. And
The needle goes deeper?
Mm-hmm. And
I don't want anybody needling me.
and I've had some fantastic success with it. My shoulder and the pain in my shoulder.
Personally, I'd say I went in. She did her thing. I was there maybe 40 minutes, and I left with no pain, and I drove back to work with no pain, and pretty much as soon as I sat at my desk, all the pain came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said,
Maybe you need a new job.
I was just going to say.
You know what
I
my
think about
doctor
that all
told
the
me?
time.
It was a PA, but she said, "Well, you need to talk to your boss about getting a stand-up desk." I'm like, "Well,
I have that.
I'm kind of my boss, and I'm not getting a stand-up desk, thanks."
Yeah, I have that. It wasn't cheap. It's like 10 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. And I use it. I'm using it more now because all the issues I'm having. So.
Right. Well,
Anyway.
hopefully you get it figured out because we got a lot of four-wheeling to do.
Yeah.
And that was our
And
old
if-
guy rant right there.
And if you're not going,
Yeah, and you got to sit in a chair, dude, to drive.
do we got to talk
Yeah.
about glaucoma?
And that's all
or-
day, too.
Is everybody regular? Everybody regular?
Yeah.
Regular.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now we got that out of the way.
That's all day.
Let's not
too.
get on that topic. Not with me.
Oh my gosh.
Jeeping,
Take
that's
all
a
day.
long day.
Yeah, the Jeeping, you get beat up,
we
man.
got it. No matter where we go, it's pretty much 2-hour drive
Yeah,
there and back. And
you got to
then-
get 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys going out to the, so Operation Desert Fun, October 19, 20, out at the Blue Inn. It's a big fundraiser for the paralyzed veterans.
But the weekend before, 2 weeks before.
That's
Halloween?
not that's
Halloween's
not this
in the middle of the
weekend
week.
coming up, but
The following.
the following.
It's interesting that SEMA does their thing like Halloween. Isn't that's the opening weekend for desert season?
Yeah,
but
but
SEMA's everything.
SEMA's everything.
True. No, that's true. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
And,
opening season for
We only
Southern
look at the
California.
off-road stuff.
yeah, we're
And
Southern
that-
California.
It's really that opening season is really a Southern California
for
thing,
sure.
or
and
Southwest.
I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas for Halloween, but you got to do it at least.
Oh,
once.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a freak show. It is.
It's always a freak show. It's Vegas.
Vegas is a freak show, but Vegas on Halloween is ultimate freak show.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, super fun.
Right on.
All right, well, that's about enough. Next time we'll have more topics. We'll plan it a little better. We're just shooting from the hip these days.
I'll do my research. Sorry.
Well, I want to talk about my stuff
Yeah,
a little
hey.
bit.
Yeah.
Oh, what
what's
are we
with
gonna
the-
do?
Yeah, man.
What's new in the international world?
We got.
Well-
Oh, sorry. We thought
Yeah.
I thought the Scout International went out of business or something, right?
Yeah,
we-
there's nothing new.
I thought we covered
Same as last week, last time, and then nothing new. No.
No, you're right, Ken. You're
No.
right because you've got progress now.
Well, I've got a little bit of progress. I don't. Was it back? The last
I
podcast.
don't think you had it back.
So
it was done, but you hadn't picked it up.
No, because
got it back.
you were basically getting it back
Yeah.
that week.
Yeah, I think that was the
Before
deal, and so I got it back. It runs nice. The 345, I had swapped in a 392, and decided based on cooling issues, trail issues, that I just didn't get enough seat time in the 392 to feel confident that it was going to be to run cool on the trail. And so rather than I didn't feel like I needed the horsepower, and that I've got the thing properly geared, and if I'm going to do something, I'll do the Terra low kit for the Dana 300 and do that. But there's a difference. You can feel the seat of the pants difference on the throttle, little less. Took out the steering box, my leaky steering box.
Yes.
The original steering box went back in. It is not leaking, but it is the input shaft is slightly different than the other box. So now I need a longer, what do they call that, D-bar for the Borgeson?
Yep.
And
How long? I got a bunch here.
like 6 inches.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
So I need to lengthen that, and then so I can feel confident, because I don't know how much I've got, how much of that spline I really actually have a hold of. So I'm a little bit nervous. So I haven't driven it very far because of that. But
So it's not broken.
no, I still don't have 50 miles on the thing.
Right.
We've been to the grocery store a couple of times and to soccer practice.
My front yard.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Drive it to the desert and back. It's a good break-in.
Blew in on the 19th, right?
Yeah, it's 75 miles out, 75 miles back,
Perfect.
That could be.
right?
It could
Day
be.
trip.
And is that going to be a Saturday or Sunday?
It starts Friday, and then it's a Saturday. So really Friday is when they get set up and everybody gets there, and they do some stuff that night. And then Saturday is when they do all the runs. There's some Jeep clubs that are sponsoring some runs out into the desert, and then they do all the raffle prizes. And
Yeah, the problem with that is I got to drive all the way to Salton Sea to AMPM to get fuel. Drive back.
Why is
yeah,
that?
man, I wish the Blue Inn would just have gas.
Yeah,
again.
they don't have gas anymore.
Man, that,
I guess I could.
Oh.
I guess I can. I could bring some fuel.
How many
potentially.
gallons? Where are you at?
I might be able to make it out there. But I mean, it's 33 gallons. I mean, I just don't have any. I don't have any time in the seat yet. It should get. And the issue is, right, my long-term history with the vehicle is that it should get 10 miles to the gallon. But now I'm running 35s, and now I'm running 456 gears, so things are different.
well, we're going to put the Phytech on it, which hopefully will.
Yeah, and I want to break it in. So I'm having fun driving it again, listening to the dual exhaust, and so I got to learn to keep my foot out of it a little bit and just drive it a little more reasonable, just to get a good baseline for the carbureted fuel economy.
Right.
Then I want to make the switch to the Phytech.
And to see what really is happening.
Yeah.
So what's your gas mileage like?
On my Jeep,
Yeah.
I don't know, 6,
Yeah,
7.
I was gonna say, 'cause
Crap.
No, it's not.
Now I might get.
Dude.
I might get.
No, you guys both did better than me on the when we went to Big
We
Bear
must
that
be
first
getting
time.
15 at
I don't.
best.
So
guys
I
got
can
12
fill
or
up.
13, I
So
thought.
Yeah, I think 12 or 13.
while the Mustang was in the shop, I had to drive the Jeep every day, and I did a couple trips up to LA to our other facility
In the Jeep?
in the Jeep.
That's why you're hurting.
Yeah, didn't help.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'd fill up, right? Drive up there. It's about 83, 84 miles each way, and I was using over 3/4 of a tank there and back.
And it's a 20-gallon tank?
No, it's not. What, 15, 16 maybe?
No, I don't know about yours. Mine's the unlimited, so I don't know if I have the bigger tank. 'Cause mine's a bigger tank. Mine's
You getting
like,
10 miles a gallon then? Ish?
If I mean,
No, you said I actually doing better than that.
Well, I would believe that. I mean, you have
Yeah.
456 gears, if I remember right, and those are little tires on there. So that thing's
Yeah.
got to be wound out the whole time you're driving.
no, I mean I'm doing. I mean I wasn't. Obviously I'm not pushing it. I'm no hurry to get there. I'm
Right.
doing 65, 70. I stay in the slow lane, and it's probably 2,200 RPMs.
Really?
Yeah, no, I can't remember what gears I have. I might have the 456.
I think you do.
I think so.
Yeah,
Your
it's been
speedometer's
geared
accurate?
up like twice.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's accurate. I mean,
Do you have
kinda
a
checked
programmer
it.
for it?
No.
then it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Well, I don't know what I have. I mean, right?
So
Do I
he-
really know what I have? No.
So he's reading his gauge, right? Going, yeah. How fast were you going?
Like 70 at the most.
Well, wouldn't the RPM still be right?
Well, no.
No.
No, that's the whole reason you're changing your gears.
Well, no. The RPMs, the wheel spinning is wrong. The engine RPM is the same, but the
Well, if it says 2,200, it's 2,200.
right, yeah.
That part doesn't change.
At a certain speed,
No.
right? I mean, if you're doing
No.
a certain speed,
Not if you change the
and it's-
gears.
But if you're doing a certain speed and a certain RPM, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, you change the gears, it's going to change either your RPM or your speed, right?
Well, your RPM gauge is always going to reach 2200 at 2200, but how fast you're going is going to be dependent on the
That's
gears.
gonna
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we'll just have to use your phone
but
and put on your little GPS, speed thing, and go see how far off it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking you were doing 2,200 RPMs at 55 miles an hour.
That's why you're in the slow lane.
That's why you're in the slow lane.
No, because people weren't passing me all crazy or anything. I mean, I was just...
Nobody wants to go to L.A.
It's true.
Yeah.
Or come back.
Or come
Yeah.
back.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Because I'm 456 gears on 35s, and at 70 miles an hour, I'm at 2,800 RPMs.
I'll have to look at my paperwork again.
Yeah, but totally different drivetrain.
I get it, but he's also running a 285 tire on 456 gears. I mean, the smaller that wheel gets,
that's right.
it's going to wind out bad.
I mean, we would have been essentially the same stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
With my Scout originally was like a 28 or 30 inch tire. I don't know what it would have been stock, and 373s, and my speedometer is accurate with 35 inch tires and 456 gears.
I'm pretty sure mine's accurate too, though. I mean,
no, and you may have had you can do a tune or a chip or whatever to programmer to make that.
Yeah, I use a programmer to make mine right.
Mine's like gears or something. You got to take out of the.
Yeah.
You got to change the speedometer gear in the
In the
tranny.
transmission. Yeah.
But that was my point. If you would have bought the Jeep and he reprogrammed the computer, then you should have that with the Jeep. Did he give you a programmer?
no.
May not be programmed.
Or it could just be that it was at...
Well, why would
his shop.
he
Who-
programmed
I
it
don't
and just
remember
didn't give it to him,
Yeah.
right?
Or the shop did. I mean, he didn't have to,
That's
right?
true too.
Can you?
No, those things marry to the VIN number.
Right.
So as soon as you use it
Oh,
once,
oh,
it's
really?
married to that
Yeah.
vehicle.
Oh, wow.
My diesel, my
Right.
other truck, my Jeep, they're all.
Yeah, right.
I have to keep it with the vehicle.
I'll look it up. I don't remember what gears are in it. So
Next time he
I'd
gets it up on the lift, we'll have to just rotate the tires and see how many times it's
Go
been.
old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Count it.
count it. Yeah.
Yeah.
David, can't
Time
you
it.
look with
1 minute. Go.
your fancy $8,000 plug-in computer in there?
No, it won't do that. It won't tell me what the gear ratio he has.
Tell you what it's programmed for. Would it tell you that?
No, I can go in and I can actually see engine. I can see engine speed and I can see vehicle speed. But what I'm going to see on vehicle speed is exactly what is being displayed. So it's really not worth it to go in there.
Right.
It's not going to show two different things. Some vehicles have that. Some vehicles have a vehicle speed sensor that tells the computer, and then another sensor that tells the dash. So there are two different sensors in different locations that are going to two different places, but not on the Jeep.
So last thing, David and I were talking a little bit about sway bars for my Scout. You
Front
guys-
and rear.
Well, no, not front and rear. I don't
Just
think.
front.
Just one.
Just front, yeah.
But I'm having a hard time. You guys got all these fancy disconnects and everything, and all these other deals they don't ever get disconnected. They just stay connected. Or you got to, I don't know.
It's like an intermediate bar, right? You got to pick a bar that off-road flexes enough that doesn't impede your travel, but then on-road supplies enough torsional resistance to keep the vehicle from swaying, right?
So his vehicle doesn't have any type of disconnect?
Well, he
I
doesn't
don't
have
have
any
a
sway
sway bar.
bars at
No
all.
sway
Oh,
bars.
you don't?
Well, think about it. He's
Oh,
got
really?
he's
I
got
didn't
leaf
know that.
springs front and rear.
That's gotta
We're
be
talking about
fun
the
to
Scout.
drive. I know, I understand,
okay.
but it's got to be. I mean, it must have come with something, right? Didn't it?
No,
No sway bars at all? Because
no, my year didn't. I don't know when they brought it in,
when you
but
get in those like 70s and older, like they just did
For
springs.
men back then, they didn't need no sway bars.
Well,
Why
the one
those cars
thing is
sway.
the sway bar wasn't as big of a deal if it was running 30-inch tire, right?
Yeah,
Down
if that
to the
thing
ground.
was only a foot.
It was
down.
lower to the ground, yeah.
Right.
But now that it's 18
Right.
inches taller in the air, it's a big deal. And but on a Scout, the shackles are in the front, which they say provides a harsher ride because when you impact an obstacle and your spring flexes, it actually pushes the axle forward. So when you're driving and you hit something, right, then it's actually you're also and you're flexing, it's pushing the axle forward. So, but but they did the sway bar that they came from the factory bolted on to the inside of the two front shackles, and it was just a straight
plate
piece of bar across there.
It's like a 3-inch bar stock that's maybe it wasn't even, well, it might have been a 1/4 inch thick.
It's probably 1/4 inch thick.
And it would just go from one shackle to the other. I remember this. That was pretty common on anything with solid axle front leaf spring setups. You'll see that on.
There's no real quick way to disconnect that.
So there was one.
But it wasn't on mine.
Oh, really?
Now, whether or not it got taken off at some point in its life, I don't know. So I don't know when they brought it in.
Just manufacture something?
There's stuff
available.
out there. There's Universal
there
stuff.
is. Okay.
Curry and all those guys make Universal setups. I mean, every trophy truck out there has sway bars that they don't disconnect. I mean, we're talking massive travel vehicles, right? So, and they have to have them because they're, pushing the limits of that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with having one that's not disconnectable. It's there's
emotionally, I'm having a hard time with that concept.
Yeah, well,
you guys are running these fancy disconnects and everything else, and I'm like, really? I'm going to have one that doesn't disconnect?
Because you just don't get the flex, or?
Well, and that's what David's saying, right? Is it's not about limiting the flex as much as because it's slow speed. And that's the emotional part of it, right? Where I get it, I understand what you're telling me, but so it's the speed at which you angle, right? So when you're taking a corner at speed on the road, then that torsion, it's a torsion bar in there, right? It's going to pick it up and it's going to help limit the lean. Mm-hmm. When you're on a trail, you're taking it slow. So it'll just, and there's so much leverage on it, right? It's just going to push past it anyway.
Right.
So,
I don't know if I support this plan. So I come down the road here to David's shop, and when I turn on the straightaway here, I turn on the air compressor, and then I disconnect the sway bar just to get over the floodplain blocker that he's got to get into his driveway. So
you got to off-road to get to the shop.
Yeah. So you go over that.
In that entrance.
Yeah.
In the Mustang. In the Mustang.
Yeah. So when I do it in the Jeep, I disconnect the sway bar so I can roll over it in comfort. Otherwise, if the sway bar's on,
Lord,
it almost. I don't know. It's horrible.
Ken, just hit it faster.
Right. I thought about it.
It's a speed bump, right?
I'd have to get airborne in the Mustang.
Hit it quicker.
Yeah.
Just hit it quicker.
I'd just leave that off.
I'm not a fan of rear sway bars on the Jeep. The rear sway bar on the Jeeps, I don't know why they put those on there at all.
I'll have to watch you out there next time.
Well, the other thing I want to do, though, is I'd like to revisit that long travel shock and see what the deal is with that as well.
Yeah.
Because I need shocks.
Yeah.
And I don't want to buy them twice.
Right.
I don't want to buy them twice.
Yours stopped leaking?
Well, they came. They keep coming.
They finally ran out of juice.
They keep coming disconnected too. I got the thing back, and I'm going, man. The mechanic is like, I finally kind of got used to driving this thing. It's a little squirrely, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, all right, it's a little squirrely, and I'm driving. I'm going, holy smoke, this thing's all over the road. And so I get back to the house. And I crawl underneath, and sure enough, man, the shock is totally disconnected. And it was still connected up top. Lost the nut and bolt on the bottom. And so when I left the house and I went to roll, it's like, wow, it's really dipping on the right side. What's going on? It feels like there's no shock. Sure enough, there was no shock. Oh, I hooked that back up. It was a lot better.
Yeah.
So
maybe before you do the sway bar, just get all the shocks the way you want them.
That plan I could support.
Maybe we can take care of this with some dampening and not necessarily with a sway bar.
Because I'm not a master mechanic, but shocks from like 1980-ish probably need to be.
But again, the plan was to
replace
those
are
them.
RS 1000s.
No, 5000s.
Oh, 5,000s.
I love my
They're
shocks.
from 95.
Are they adjustable? These the adjustable ones?
Oh god, no! This is before that.
Yeah.
This is before
No
that.
clickers.
They have a red boot?
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of rusted red, but
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, you had to buy the boot separate.
Yeah.
You picked a color.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think you still do, don't you?
At one point, they might have been.
Maybe.
Is that a different package? Like you can buy the shocks and then you get the shocks with the boot.
I don't know. I just don't put the boots on.
No.
Is it really going to keep the dust out? What we do? I don't think
maybe
so.
for a year.
Yeah, I don't care. The faster my shocks go out, the faster I can put coilovers in.
Oy.
And do you see coilovers with boots on them? No. So why do I have to have a boot on my other shock?
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's a chip protector, right? That's part of what it's not so much as much
so.
dust as it is chip.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll buy that.
Same thing, same reason though, right? Why they don't have one?
Yeah.
They got a
spring
in front
around them.
Yeah.
Doesn't protect it. I don't know.
I don't want to do a new suspension. I just,
Let's just let's just 4-link it, man. Come on. Forget those leaf springs.
the whole reason I did this motor, right, and I didn't do an LS because it's done.
That's right.
It's driving already.
That's right.
Plus, he already had it.
Well, plus I already had it. It was a lot
I
cheaper.
had an engine laying around, so if you had an LS laying around, we can steal Russo's.
Right out of the car?
Yeah, right out of the car. We'll put your 345 or 390, whatever.
Drop that in.
We'll
the
drop
Dreamer.
that in there. He'd come out in his driveway, his rear wheels will be off the ground. What the hell happened here?
Weighs twice as much
Yeah.
as an LS.
That's funny.
Oh.
That'd be funny.
All right. That's it. Ken's got to go get his kids.
So next,
We're wrapping it.
so 19th, are we going to do that?
I'm going out there. I'm bringing
All
my motor home and everything.
I'll go. Well, I'll go out for the day.
Go for the day. Go out on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Let's go for the day.
Operation Desert Fun day trip.
There's no commitment from here yet, but
What are we saving? Boobs?
No, paralyzed
No.
veterans.
Eh,
Boobs is next
No.
week.
I'd be way more in if it was boobs.
Well, maybe we can get some of the veterans to show us their boobs.
There you go, right on.
I need some of Marty's pain meds.
This has been the Bent Motorsports Podcast. Thanks for listening in. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Bent Motorsports. Stay updated on the latest happenings, future projects, videos, and events here at the shop. Remember, guys, at Bent Motorsports, if it's in stock, we've got it.